Hi, Jay Massey here with thecashflowdiary.com, and I've just been asked an interesting question. What is it like to invest in real estate? See, naturally, I'm an introvert, so that means I don't really enjoy or derive my energy from hanging around a bunch of people. And conflict isn't exactly something that I look forward to. And dealing with other people's problems in the middle of the night isn't necessarily on the highest priority of my list. When you ask me, what's it like to deal with real estate? It's all of those things and more. Because real estate involves people. One of the things that I've said before is that real estate would be the perfect business if it didn't involve people. But it's kind of hard because you're housing people. You're providing people clean, safe, affordable housing when they need it, when it matters most to them. And here's the point. One of the greatest things about real estate is the leverage that you can get. That's what I love, is that I may not necessarily be the person that's dealing with my customers, but there are so many people who are willing to help you and help myself go through that process. So on the other side, once you have systems in place, real estate investing, or business for that matter, becomes lots of fun. It becomes lots of strategic thinking and lots of implementation. The number one thing that I learned is that many people come up with all kinds of questions and trying to understand everything that could possibly happen to them before they take action. The most important skill that you could learn right now is to learn to move at the speed of instruction. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you a free resource that you can go listen to right now that's going to give you more insight into my adventures into real estate investing. And one of the things that you should understand is that I didn't wake up going, "Ooh, I can't wait to deal with tenants, toilets, termites, taxes, and all that other stuff that comes along with real estate." In fact, I don't really like real estate all that much. I like the benefits that real estate brings. And I will teach you about all of those things on my podcast, absolutely at no cost. All you need to do is go over to cashflowdiarypodcast.com. I interview many entrepreneurs who are out there creating cash flow, as well as give you lots of complimentary information on how real estate investing actually happens and what it's like. Go to cashflowdiarypodcast.com and get started today. Hey guys, gals, people. Hopefully you are having fun. I'm here. I'm Jay, Q&A with Jay. We're going to do this again. Here's the cool thing today is that I know that we have very few questions that have been submitted ahead of time. So for those of you watching live, you're going to definitely get lots of interaction today. So you might as well start typing now, which is a good thing. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows, as well as we have done in the past, we completed yet another giveaway. Many of you entered. Thank you. Few of you won. Sorry for those of you who didn't. You will get an email. That email will say that it will have the subject line giveaway winner. Giveaway winner is what the email will be, so that way you have the ability to actually know that that email is from us, because we've had an interesting thing happen. Many of you enter, we tell you you win, and then we never hear from you again. That's pretty odd. So let's not do that this time. Feel free to let us know back. Again, as a reminder, first prize is 2 cash flow board games. Second was 5 different Rich Dad Poor Dad books. And third was the Cash Flow Diary book, Equity Happens, E-Myth, Purple Cow, and 2 books by Mark Kohler himself. Another thing just to know, in the next 2 days, if you haven't already, you probably have, but if you haven't already, we have a new webinar that we're going to be doing live with an IRA custodian. Here's the point of you understanding that. When it comes to raising capital, if that's something that you're interested in, when it comes to how am I going to make sure that I retire, or when it comes to, feeling like you have no money to invest and you're looking for sources of money, for all intents and purposes, we're going to be talking about my secret money source. And what does that mean? That means self-directed retirement plans. You're like, I don't have a retirement plan, Jay. It doesn't matter that you don't have one. What matters is that you have something of value that you could bring to the marketplace, because other people have them and they might be willing to work with you. So we're going to be talking about that here in the next couple of days. So if you haven't already received an email and you want to make sure that you are a part of that particular webinar, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to go over to cashflowdiary.com, obviously, cashflowdiary.com / secret money source, which I guess as of right now isn't so secret, but you get the point. Cashflowdiary.com, secret money source. Clearly, I was able to acquire at least my first $5 million. You heard that number correctly, from private capital from this source. This is why, you just have to ask yourself, if you had access to $100,000, would that help you? Would that help your business in general? If it would, great. If it's going to help you build cash flow, that's probably a place you need to be for sure. And then, as a good thing, and multiple bonuses going around, the team's here working hard to make sure that you guys are able to get answers, and definitely so we don't have to answer the same question multiple times. I don't know if you've noticed on the new YouTube channel, so you can go to youtube.com/cashflowdiary. You go right over here to the playlist, and when you're looking at the playlist, guess what we've got? We've got some new frequently asked questions. 14 more videos that answer a lot of the common questions that I receive. As some of you, you've seen some of them because we tend to play them a little bit in the front of things. But at the end of the day, here are 14 questions in 2 to 3 minute bites that you can consume to get some of those basic questions answered, that I might even, dare I say, suggest you send to a few friends of yours so that they can get their questions answered too, and leverage everything that we're doing to help you get your deals done. So at the end of the day, you've got to remember, one of the best things that you have as an asset for you, just like myself, everybody, we all have a place that we've been, and we're just relatable individuals. And that's my intent, is to help you guys, help everybody in that sense, be able to make minor steps forward. Because the way that I started was not, common. What does that mean? A few years ago, my wife and I, we were in a, we'll call it, challenging situation. And by that, I simply mean that she couldn't eat or drink and I was unable to walk or talk. So yeah, we were squatting in bank-owned property, and it was kind of a challenge to get through those types of things. If you've ever had to make decisions like, hey, do I keep electricity on or do I pay for food? Which is it that's going to make this whole thing work? Those were the types of decisions that, we were in the process of making. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't want to be there. It wasn't something I consciously chose, which would suggest I subconsciously chose it. But you get my point. We all get ourselves in a situation, and whatever your situation is, doesn't really matter that much. What matters is that you're here and you're ready to do something about it. And that's what we've been able to do. We've been able to do something about it. And by that, we have been able to do hundreds of real estate transactions across many different states, and it's helped us tremendously begin to become different people, serve different people, and make new things happen. And that's exactly how we view everything that's going on here right now with you. So if you have not gone to cashflowdiary.tv by now, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to say get there so that you can type in the chat box, give me some questions that you want answered. We'll look at the ones that have been submitted as well. But at the same time, I want to make sure that for those of you who are watching live, you do get your questions answered too. So one more quick just note, we have new episodes of the podcast that tend to come out every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So don't email me at 8 a.m. Eastern time saying, hey, where's the episode? Because it's not time yet. But at 8 a.m. Pacific time, we definitely can make that happen for you. Cashflowdiarypodcast.com, Mondays and Thursdays. Got it. Let's see what we've got here. Don sends in a topic suggestion. That's correct. On Fridays, guys, if you remember in the newsletter, we're asking you to send in topic suggestions. What would you like us to discuss in the chat room? That way we can talk about it. Because some of you probably have bigger questions, and if we can serve you in that way, that's definitely something we want to begin to talk about. So Don wants, I would like to suggest the topic of how to use my own cash to do deals for income and cash flow when I have a low credit score. I would love to hear Jay's thoughts and advice. Okay, sure, no problem. We will definitely talk about that. How to use your own cash. That's not a question I actually get that frequently. Okay, so here we go. As I've said before, and I say again, you've got those four primary resources inside a real estate transaction, right? You've got knowledge, time, money, and credit. Knowledge, time, money, and credit. In general, as I've always said, you can draw a dividing line, an imaginary dividing line down the middle. Knowledge, time, money, and credit. Because typically the person who has the knowledge and the time is typically not the person who has the money and credit. Now, that's not always the case, but that's, like I said, typically the person, one or the other. All you need is one. Any one that you have is the one that you obviously value the most. So if you have knowledge, then you value that the most, and you make sure you quote unquote get paid for your time, money, or credit that you are therefore investing or leveraging with your knowledge. Same thing if you're the one with the money. If you're the one with the money, then okay, you've got to work with someone who doesn't have the money, but more importantly has the knowledge and the time or the credit to make these things happen. One of the best things about real estate, in my opinion, and well, probably the opinion of many, is the fact even if you do have your own money, you can still leverage for all the other pieces. See, just having money doesn't help you do real estate. That's not all that's required. There's knowledge, there's time, there's expertise, there's experience. As she was mentioning, there's credit to some degree. And all of those things are required to be a part of the transaction. It's not like you can do one. You can't just, hey, I got a whole bunch of money, so I should be able to do real estate. Having money does not qualify you in and of itself. There are so many other pieces that go along with it in order to make this deal or any deal work. And this is true for business. This is true for just nearly every endeavor. You can't just have one of the components. Money is a tool. That's like saying, hey, I have a hammer, so I can build an entire house. Well, you probably need some wood and at least a nail, and that doesn't even mean you know how to use the hammer or the nail. The point is you need all of the tools in order to complete the project at the end of the day. Having just one of them doesn't do it. So you just have to decide. If you're going to use your money, that's fine. then just know that that's your leverage point. And there's only so much leverage that you're going to be able to have with money because you have a finite amount, just like you have a finite amount of time. And we all have a finite amount of all of these things. And we've got to figure out a way to leverage them so that we can gain access, use your money to gain access to the knowledge, time, and credit of other people. So that's what you're contributing to the deal. At the end of the day, it's like when you have, my oldest is in college right now. So she may have the money, but she doesn't have the car. So in order to get anywhere, what ends up happening is she pays someone who has a car gas money, right? And that's pretty much how that works. So this is no different, is you may not have the knowledge, time, or credit, but you have the money. So you pay the person who has the ability to use their knowledge, time, and credit in that way. Now, you can pay them in one of two ways, all right? Typically, you could pay them just a fee for service, right? You could just say, hey, here's something I would like you to do. So someone would approach me and say, hey, Jay, will you walk me through a deal? Okay, now it's going to cost you. It's not going to be like cheap, but it'll be worth it at the end of the day. And that's what's going to happen. And you just pay for that service. Or you can typically pay the person with the knowledge and the time as part of the deal because you're at least bringing the money. So maybe you've got to give up equity ownership. Maybe it's, you've got to give up something on the profit analysis quadrant in order to make it all work. So hopefully, Don, that makes way more sense than before. Okay? I see another question. JLCP, not sure who that is, but that's an interesting name. What is your main communication skill you used to network with other people of higher status, especially before you had success? Got it. Interesting question. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting thoughts behind the way that you've asked that question, and that's really what's tripping me up at this particular moment. Is I'm looking at that question, going, I just think it's interesting the way that you phrased it. Here's my point. This concept of higher status I find that interesting. At the end of the day, everybody's a person. At the end of the day, everybody's a person. Everybody deserves respect, deserves equal and fair treatment. So I can't say that I necessarily did anything differently to network with people of higher status. I tend to get this question rather frequently, and I think sometimes it is a little challenging to believe that someone with significant net worth or someone who has significant means would simply play a cash flow game. I think that's part of the challenge. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the techniques that I've taught in our courses and our mastermind groups, etc., they work regardless of the socioeconomic class you're looking to reach. For example, a very simple one is, and it's kind of funny actually, is the LED name badge. And I've said this one a lot. So if you walk around with the LED name badge that simply says, hey, have you ever considered getting involved in real estate investing? Ask me now. You'll begin to generate leads. Well, you have some control over the types of leads you generate by the pond you fish in. So if you wear that badge and the only place you go is Walmart, well, I'm not saying anything bad or great about Walmart. I'm just saying their customer is typically not going to be the person that you would want to, that would be the person that you say you're looking for. You take that same badge and you put yourself in Nordstrom. Now, that would definitely be a different environment. It definitely catch attention, right? And it would attract a completely different person because I did it in the Apple store. And guess what? It attracted a completely different person than when I was doing it at Walmart. So then hang out in the Apple store wearing the thing, and guess what? Boom! It was great. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is it's all about your marketing message as well as positioning. The same message, the same technique. I mean, Nordstrom, they may be after a high-end client. What is it? Saks, Fifth Avenue, high-end client. Bugatti, the car manufacturer, high-end client. They're still going to have to do the same things. They got to let people know that they're in business to solve their problem. And if your problem is you don't have a very expensive sports car that is probably made by Italians that you can't fit in, then great, that's fine. All I'm saying is they have to do the same techniques. They have to do the same thing. They just do them on a different channel. Instead of advertising on Oprah Network, they advertise on CNBC. All of those things, those demographics always exist, and it's where you position your message. It's the same message. We can solve your problem using our product or service. It's the same message. So what does that mean? For me, that means I've played cash flow on a boat with investors, and I've played cash flow at Starbucks. You attract a different person in each of those situations, but you're still attracting people. It's the same game. I'm the same person. Probably one of the most important things to remember is that you need to be the same person. Whether in your hand you're holding Rob Report or your family circle, it doesn't matter. You need to be the same person and genuine all the way through and through. And I find that most individuals, most individuals of means that I've met, they comment on that, you being genuine or not. And that's what's important at the end of the day. So I don't know that there's not like some secret handshake or special code or way you're supposed to talk. And, I don't know. And by the way, here's the other thing about your question that also could be a very strong limiting belief. Whether what you've succeeded at in the past is irrelevant, and having succeeded at something is also irrelevant. What is relevant is, do they have a problem that you know how to solve? And if you have a problem that you know how to solve, well, great. Because at the end of the day, let's pretend for a second this person with means has, and I'm going to take it to a different area. They're bleeding. Their arm is like hanging off. Now, clearly they have the money to pay for the surgery, but you're the only one there and you're just out of residency. You're the only person there. Are they going to say, no, I want someone more qualified? Well, no, not in that situation. They want anybody who can help. And that's the point. It's relative to the size of their problem. Now, what is unique is, do you understand their problem? That's a different challenge. That does take work. That does take understanding who they are and why on earth would they have a problem. Because occasionally you can run into someone and they say things like, well, I'm down to my last $2 million. And you're like, and that's a problem? But it is. All of these things are there. They're there for the taking. Remember, whether they have no net worth or billions of dollars in net worth, everybody reads a book. Many people listen to podcasts. Many people watch and look at websites. The techniques aren't different. All you're doing is putting your message in a different fishing pond to attract a different type of fish. If I wanted tuna, there's a place I go fishing for that. If I wanted bass, there's a place I go fishing for that. But at the end of the day, in both cases, guess what I need? A fishing rod. It doesn't happen either way. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Matt, lady just called from one of my bandit signs. Way to go. Everything works. Nothing doesn't. Her parents live in a mobile home and are behind on payments. She asked if I could buy the home and allow her parents to still live there. Is that possible? And could the parents buy back their home? Is it possible? Yes. Remember this phrase, Matt. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. This is definitely something you could do. It is typically not illegal. Now, depending on the state you're in. However, here's the one thing I will say. As a best practice, you should not do it, regardless of the state you're in. Why? Because they're behind on payments for a reason. They would have to present to me a very, very strong case that says that they could now stay current. And it would have to be uber strong. And if it was that strong, they could probably just pay the back payments anyway and keep moving on. Now, yes, I'm very well aware that there's a time where someone goes unemployed and then they get behind and then they get a job, but they don't get a whole bunch of new money to replace all the stuff in the behind. I get that. My point is, we've got to have a very, very clear plan. It's not necessarily something that I would say that you want to do, because there are what are called sell leaseback provisions in various different states that could interpret that as loan sharking. And that could be a problem for you. So keep that in mind, especially if you're in California. Don't do that. All right? Bad idea. Bad idea. Bugatti. Doesn't everyone have one? No, everyone doesn't have a Bugatti. That would be funny. That would actually be funny if they did. If everyone had one, it wouldn't be special then, right? I have seen a number of them. I still don't like the way they are colored. I mean, the body style is fine, but their color scheme is just like, really? You want to pay for that? Not really. Anyway, I digress, because there could be someone watching. Guess what? They watch YouTube too. They could be watching right now. It doesn't really matter. You get my point. All right, keep typing in your questions. I think we have one or two more as we continue to go through the information that's been sent in. And let me get back over here and we'll see what we got. Oh, that was funny. Jaleesa, 18 units. Oh, here we go. Now, Jaleesa, you guys, I don't know if you've seen her name a lot, but she's been killing it in the wholesale class. She's now doing the multifamily information, and here she goes. I have a feeling she's going to be a lot like Sep, where she just keeps going bigger, bigger, faster, and faster. All right, so let's look at this. 18 units, north side of Milwaukee. Okay, 18 units, last purchased in 2011, 250, 14 one-bedrooms. Okay. 3 2-bedrooms, laundry 200, 15th one-bedroom is on-site property manager, main expenses to heat, which he says is about 500 a month, completely rented. The property manager I've selected to work with wants a 9% fee. Okay. Your profit analysis priority ranks. I love this. You guys are starting to speak the language. Q4, Q3, Q1, Q2. Got it. That's interesting. Okay, I prefer to have a down payment as close to zero as possible. Interest rates, I would like to negotiate zero, provide closing costs. However, I will be open to actual sticker price. That's good. Market info shows studios and one-bedrooms with a positive growth rate over the next 5 years are very popular in this area of town. I'm looking to acquire the property using seller financing and a minimum usage for private investors. Okay. Excellent. I don't know if you guys are getting this. I'm excited because she's got all the words in the right places. She's almost like taking them right out of my head as I'm thinking about it. I want to hold long term and implement a couple of things to improve NOI, which is net operating income, which benefits the cap rate. So I can sell profitable legacy complexes like Shay when I get to that level. Haha. Got it. Where to go from here? I would love to analyze having an on-site profit versus third party. Okay. I would like to review my 3 offers below. 200K all cash, 300 zero down, 3,000. You want that one in the middle? Okay. 225, 25 down, 2,500 payments with a balloon at the end of the 5th year and pay all closing costs. Got it. All right. Number of different things I'm looking at here. So I haven't even been able to look at the numbers yet, Jaleesa, because I got a question. And it's the same question you heard me ask a lot. Who are you serving? Fundamentally, I'm already stuck at the fact that you have a 14. I get that it's 100% rented today. That's wonderful. What about tomorrow? That's what I'm concerned about. How many people do you have standing in line behind your current tenant? Your current tenant might get upset and leave. And if they leave, do you have anybody over here who's saying, yeah, I want their spot? It's kind of like those places with rent control, you know? They got this like waiting list of renters, of people who always want to live there because it's so darn cheap, that type of thing. What I want to know is who that person is, and have you done the research? I get the fact that you've done the research on the building. That's great. I need to know who this customer is and how many more of them are there in that particular marketplace. Because at the end of the day, if you are not specifically qualified to serve them, even if you have 400 people over here, if for whatever reason, and I'm just going to be, crazy for a second and say, let's say that they're all union workers who work in a steel mill, and you have never worked with steel mill union workers, and now you come in and for whatever reason try to take over the property. And it just doesn't go well because you don't relate to that particular customer. That could be a challenge. So, and I see where you're talking about, yeah, you've got a 6-person waiting list, but who are they? Are they single students? What do they have in common? What I'm saying is, are you the best person to serve them? Even a waiting list is great, but it doesn't mean you understand how to serve that customer. Remember, the reason that waiting list exists is because she has known how to serve, or the seller knows how to serve that customer so well, they've built that reputation for that business in that way. It's not just because the building is there that waiting list exists. So it doesn't mean you're going to inherit all of that. Now, you could, but I just want you to be clear on who you're serving. Now, with that being said, on-site property manager versus third-party management company. At the end of the day, what you're looking at is the NOI. The NOI. And in order to know that, I need a cap rate. Since you're watching, give me what is the cap rate in the area, because that'll help me to give you a better analysis. Because right now, what you're looking at, you said it was it $500? How much is the one bedroom? There was a 15th one bedroom. Okay, so the 14 one bed. Okay, so got it. So the one bedrooms, which is currently going to the manager, is costing you $550 per month, plus, you said it was 9%. Is that right? Yep. Plus 9% of, let me see. So now we've got to do the total math. This is the first time anyone's asked this one. This is good. Good question, Jaleesa. Thank you. So 14 one bedroom. So 14 times, so it's 14 times 550 plus 3 two bedrooms at 650. So 3 times 650 plus laundry is 200. And I think that's it. Now, you've heard me say this before, but this is the example of what I mean. You've heard me say this before, but this is what I mean. I've said this before. Most people, you don't like math, and you don't like math because you don't realize math and money are the same. And what's really important to understand here is that not only are math and money the same, but in this particular case, the type of math we're talking about is algebra. Algebraic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, a little bit of statistics, and a financial calculator, and that's really all the math you need. After that, it's something super special that you're never going to use again, and that's what we're doing right here. So, but here's how we're going to put this together. I need to add up what it's actually costing you and compare that to the salary and all the expenses that you would have to pay, because you're paying something here, but you're also getting a benefit by having an on-site manager. So if you've got the cap rate for the area, please let me know. And it says owner was it elderly mixed with fresh out of high school. Okay, that's interesting. Is the fresh out of high school going into college? The elderly makes sense. I'm okay with that. But how does that really work? Most elderly people I know and most fresh out of high school people I know usually are up at different times of the day. And therefore, I'm trying to figure out, how happy is the entire tenant base really in that particular situation? Somebody's looking to move. Somebody's either tired of the, Ben Gay smell, or someone's either tired of the noise all night. One of the two cannot coexist, I don't think, too happily for too long. Anyway, let's see. What is it? Okay, so 9%. All right, now let me do this math. Bring calculator. So we've got 14, where we go? Where's my calculator? There it is. I'm normally on the iPad. 14 times 550 equals 7,700. 650 times 3, 1950. So we're going to have 7,700, 9650 plus $200 is $98.50 is what we come to right here. So this all comes to $9,850, and we're going to multiply that by 9%. So that 9% is also on a monthly basis, which is another $886.50. So what this manager is currently costing you is $886 plus $550 is $1436.50 on a monthly basis, or otherwise stated as $17,238. Now, here's what I know. If you've got an on-site person and they can make it work for that, awesome. You're, in my opinion, well ahead. The other thing that I'm thinking is, it's 18 units. Do you really need an on-site person? It seems a little expensive to me because it's costing you approximately $6,600. Well, we'll get to the NOI in a second. So let's do that right now. If I'm going to do our standard calculations, I'm going to take income divided by 2, and that's going to give me NOI of this 1 unit per month. So that's 225, and I'm going to multiply that by 12, right? So once I've done that, that's going to give me a new number. 225 times 12 equals 2,700. This $2,700 of NOI, because that's what you said you were looking to improve, is what we're talking about. Well, the question is, let's assume that this is as high as a 10% cap rate. This is an expense of $27,000. So you kick the manager out, you have an immediate increase to about $27,000 on the valuation. However, you're still going to have to pay somebody to management, which you could probably do for 9% by itself. The issue is, I actually like on-site management. I just think this building is too small for on-site management. Because when you look at 27 versus 17, and this 17 comes out over and over and over again, this 27 happens once, I don't like this ratio at all. I don't like that. But you're still going to end up paying the 9% or 10% or whatever for the management company. So that would be one of the things I would definitely 86 right there, is I'd have to get rid of a job. And I don't like that. I had to do that before, and it's not fun. But in this particular case, I don't think it makes financial sense, especially given what you said you want to do with the building. Let's see. As far as your 3 offers below, it's going to be hard for me to give you any sort of input other than to say you are really going for it, and you need to give her or the owner a good reason why they need to accept the offer that you have in the middle. Because at the end of the day, I don't know why they would accept any of them, because I don't know their problems, right? It's always related to the problems. Remember that. This is no different than what you did in the wholesaling class, right? It's related to the problem. How does option 2 solve her problem the best? I get that it solves your problem. How does it solve her problem the best? That's what you want to make sure that you're doing. That's what you want to make sure that you know. Okay? So keep that in mind as you go forward, as we continue. All right. Let's see. JLCP, do you gift assets in Christmas? People call me weirdo for doing that. Technically, we're all gifting many different things. You could call them assets. Depends on whose definition you're referring to. Now, if you're talking about, do I give people things that put income in their pocket? You could say that. For example, this show is one of those things. We do our best to give more in use value than we take in cash value. So, and just always remember that. So use value is to be greater than or equal to cash value. And some would say that some of the information that they've learned here or in our courses, etc., has been so useful And they were able to get it and use it in such a way we taught them how to fish, and now they're able to fish in as big a pond as they'd like. So I guess that's one way of looking at it. I know there'll probably be a number of people who will get a copy of my book, Cash Flow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy. That'll be very interesting, right? So you could say that is an asset as well. It's definitely an asset to me. It's been an asset to a number of the people in the Cash Flow Diary community as well. I mean, when you look at individuals like some of our previous students, Jackson, Haya, Jaleesa, for example, all of them are now, they started with us this year. They're all earning checks in the thousands of dollars just from following and listening and implementing, coming here to the show, playing full out, participating in our groups, those types of things, and so from that aspect, yeah, I mean, we've got a YouTube channel, right? That's a gift to the world to some degree. Podcasting, all of those things to me are gifts. Because they're free, they're definitely assets, because they've been built, they provide value, and those are the things that I care about. That's how this whole thing started. That's the whole thing started. I was concerned that my two of my business mentors passed away, and I was concerned. What would I pass on to my kids? Could I gift them an asset? Sure, okay, great, some real estate. But that had no use value in their life. If they learned some of the tips, tricks, and techniques and thought processes that Dad learned, then they could use those in any area of life that they wanted. And here's the deal. I needed to do that. I had to do that. I had to document that. And guess what someone told me? They said, I guess what, dude? I bet adults would like it too. And that's exactly what happened. So it's all about use value being greater than cash value at the end of the day. Sep says, Jay, after someone answers our audio business card and is interested, would you ever invite them to a cash flow game before setting up a one-on-one meeting? Absolutely. I don't care what they come to first. Whether it's just you and them or not, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters is that you invite them to something. Invite them for coffee one-on-one, go play laser tag. It doesn't matter. Build the relationship is at the end of the day. Cash flow is there to give you a way to build that relationship. Hopefully that makes a lot more sense. Sep, how would you verify the waiting list on Jaleesa's deal? Call them? No. I'm not concerned about verifying the waiting list. I don't care about the waiting list. I want to know the demographics of who's living there, because if it's as widespread as the kids fresh out of college, I mean, just imagine this in your head. The kids fresh out of college living next to grandma. What day of the week does anything go right in that situation? And you need to know who they are and where they're coming from. Okay, maybe let's just say this is a sustainable situation. Where are those kids working? I still want to know. And where does grandma work? I still want to know. All of those things matter. Okay. Now, speaking of working, Sep, aren't you no longer working? JLCP. So this is just to give you an idea. One of the things, I just forget about all this stuff. You guys are so awesome. Sep, who's here participating right now, he quit his job yesterday. That's exciting. I'm excited for him because he is about to enter in a completely new world. And it's because he's been able to go out there and make a lot of the right things happen. Those are the things that we're here to do. I call that a really big gift. That's kind of like a gift to me in a lot of ways. I get to, celebrate with him. We all celebrate with him because everyone here is coming to build their cash flow with whatever vehicles and methods they choose. Obviously, I know the most about business and real estate, and that's exactly what we talk about. And, you don't hear me talking about how to get your next royalty deal or book sold, because that's not my thing. I talk about business and real estate. That's what I know. Now, we can put those things together to go out there and make that happen. Although I've learned a ton about how to get more books moved and written and distributed and all those types of things too, because that just has now become a part of my business at the end of the day. So just keep that in mind as you're talking. So yeah, Sep, give him big rounds of applause. If we could, someone should like invent something so that when we're clapping, we can hear it through the monitors or something. It'd be very, very interesting. So where's the app for that one, you know? There's an app for everything else but that. Let's see. Marvin, thanks, Jay. I finally got how the selection of options is made based on the owner's problems. Guess I was a little dense. No, Marvin, you're not dense. Remember, we're going through the 4 levels of learning all the time. We're always going through the 4 levels of learning. 1, 2, 3, 4. In general, you are typically learning, hopefully, from someone who is unconsciously competent at what it is that they're teaching. I promise you, and this is true for me, just like it's true for everyone else here. When we're learning it, they're telling us everything that's involved in all of these other stages. But the most we can contain at any one moment might only be that the unconscious, incompetent stage where we don't know what we don't know. And we might begin to touch the tip of now being aware, consciously incompetent, that we don't know anything. We just might touch the tip. That doesn't mean we've made it through the fact that we don't know. We may be, this part right here, learning how much we don't know that we don't know, may be huge. And it may take us a while before we go through and get to the end or start to hear the same things again. We're like, okay, I already know that one. Great. It's starting to repeat. When you start sensing that, and when you're learning something new and you go, okay, it's starting to repeat. This guy's saying something very similar to the next guy, where every word isn't new. You are successfully near the end of the consciously incompetent stage and rapidly approaching where most of us spend our time hanging out, hopefully, is the consciously competent stage. This is the stage you want to get to as quickly as humanly possible. I'm telling you, all your frustration is up here. All the frustration is up here because you don't know what you don't know. And it just seems like, oh, I tried this and that didn't work and this and that didn't work and this and that didn't work. And the only way you're ever going to get down here is to persevere. Perseverance is what's required. And you got to get down to this consciously competent stage. And then from consciously competent to unconsciously competent, you're going to have character. Because now once you got it, once you know, you're like, oh, okay, now I got to choose to continue to do it. It does not just happen in that sense. So you're not dense. And just remember, the words we use are very, very powerful, especially when we refer to ourselves. You just didn't know yet. And it took a little bit longer, lots more repetition. This is why I like our mastermind groups to be over 12 weeks. Because I can't do it. I mean, I could do the same information in probably, I'd say 20 hours. 20 hours of consistent, come in for the weekend, done. You have the information, but you won't retain anywhere near as much as you guys will. This is why people like Sep and Jaleesa and Haya and Jackson and Tyler have been able to make progress. Is because it's been spaced repetition that they've practiced consistently over time. That has propelled them through. And then they start adding their own twist to it in various different ways for their marketplaces, tastes, and desires, which is what gets them down here. And that's the process we are all in. I promise you right now, because you guys know I learned business using low to no cost strategies. And that's what we have in our lead generation course, right? So right now, guess what? I'm learning how to actually create an ad and write copy. And you have no idea just how horrible I am at it right now. You have no clue, but that's okay. I will successfully get to the consciously competent stage really, really fast because I know that if I don't, there's a number of mothers, brothers, husbands, fathers that will not know about us. And for me, that hurts because I know I wish someone would have told me the things that you guys have been able to learn sooner. And we want to get our message to them as quickly as humanly possible. That's why we created the affiliate program. When you go to cashflowdiary.com and scroll all the way to the bottom, you can click the affiliate application, fill it out right there online, because we're wanting to create more entrepreneurs. We want more Seps, we want more Jaleeses, we want more Tylers and Jacksons, and you, Marvin, we want more, because technology allows us to serve more people. So you got me all kind of fired up on that one. But that's okay. Let's see, Kyle, on multifamily. Kyle, it's been a while. Welcome back. Kyle, on a multifamily deal with seller financing, how do you interview, conduct due diligence on a seller who is offered seller financing? From our conversations, he doesn't seem like someone we can deal with, and the broker referred to him as an obviously, I'm finding a new deal and presenting cash offer instead, but in the future, how do you coordinate these situations? Actually, Kyle, I handle them the exact same way it sounds like you did. Most of the information you need, remember, seller financing is a long-term relationship. And it's one that you choose. It's kind of like marriage. It's a long-term relationship that you choose, right? So you need to go into this with that mindset going, if they're treating me like this today, do I really want to be involved with them 5 years from now? Even though, yeah, I get killer financing and a balloon payment, this and that. Do I really want that? Is this deal that important? Because there's such a thing as an emotional cost to a relationship. And frequently my wife and I will talk about the emotional cost. We're like, yeah, we could do that, but that would be emotionally expensive, which is also code for Jay, don't do that. You could do that, but that's going to cost you. And I know better. So you got to think about that ahead of time. It's a long-term relationship. So when I sense those things, I do my best to not do them or get rid of that person, remove them from the deal as quickly as possible. So if I was going to still do business with them, negotiate the seller financing, fine. But refinance that sucker at the first opportunity, the absolute first opportunity. You do not want to be in relationship with them. And Kyle, I'm going to say this because you're a guy. Take a female with you. I know it sounds crazy, but they got something that we didn't get. They got some extra spidey sense, and they get what they call the willies. I know it makes no sense, right? They get the willies. And when they say, I don't know, he didn't make me feel right. Okay, I just don't like him. Can you tell me why? Nah, I just got the willies. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. But here's what I do know. I've learned to listen to the willies, okay? Because they have prevented us from making some horrible decisions, and they have saved us as well. So keep that in mind as you're going out there to build your team. It's one of the more difficult things to do, by the way, especially for guys when we're just focused on getting the deal, conquering the land, and charging that hill. You know, all of those things are very, very true. What skills have you been practicing for copywriting? And what books have you read on the topic? You got it, Kyle. I'm in a mastermind group. I've been, as far as skills I've been practicing, if you look on Facebook, you probably, maybe have actually seen some more advertising from me because that's where I've just been practicing in the real world, trial and error. So that, because here's one of the things I love to do. I get more out of a course if I have tried it and failed first, then take the course. Because then instead of trying to, I get more out of it that way because I've got very hyper-specific questions that I can go in looking for answers to that I can draw from and be able to apply that to my situation. So I've had a number of courses recommended to me from Dan Kennedy and some others being recommended as we speak, for Bob Bly, John Carlton, Clayton Makepeace. I don't even know how to say that one. But at the end of the day, I'm also a part of some masterminds that have helped me as well make some significant progress. But these are, again, all things. It's one thing. And the funny thing is when I see the copy done, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I would have said. I know how to do it orally. Writing it down, different story. I mean, there's just a whole new process to trying to spread your marketing and message digitally. Because you guys inspired me. You said something, and I've just been thinking about it. Real estate is local. It doesn't mean our marketing has to be. And we need more of that type of information and learning how to put together a marketing funnel so that you have the ability to actually optimize and get as many customers through the door and be able to raise as much capital and do as many deals. I hope you guys realize that the real estate world will change in the not too distant future, especially if the SEC ever gets its act together as it relates to crowdfunding. And you've got to be prepared for that change. That change is going to be swift. It's going to be fast, and it's going to feel like it came out of nowhere. Not because it came out of nowhere, but because as real estate investors, we are relatively used to things moving slow and with paper, you know. And that's the thing that we've been noticing. I get a ton of calls from Canada now. I get a ton of calls from the UK or Germany. I get a lot more influx from a lot more places other than just the US. And that only means that as communications and money transfers and all this other stuff gets easier, it's going to be, like I said, the real estate is local. It doesn't mean your marketing has to be. So keep that in mind. Jay, how do you manage your emotional cost in a situation where you need to hire someone as soon as possible, but have too much time? Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, Kyle, you are hitting on a hard one right there. How do you manage at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you've got a lot of responsibilities. Yes, I understand that. And you got responsibilities every time of the year. Yeah, this could be a special time of year for you. It's not easy to manage. Like right now, one of the things that we're having a challenge with, as we grow, as more customers, we're putting on more customers faster than we have ever done. And that's great, right? However, it also guess what comes with customers? Okay, try now.
Okay. Please stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulties.
That's an understatement.
See if we can stream back on.
Okay, I need chat room again. Scott, you have no signal. Got it. I don't even remember what the question was I was answering. It was about the fact that...
Customers, when you got customers, you need customer service.
Oh, the urgent need to fill, and we're in the...
Oh, okay, got it. The time of year. Kyle. Yes, Kyle's question. Hi, guys. I'm back. So, anyway, at the end of the day, that was pretty interesting right there. We had a power surge, so go figure. And 2 of the 3 power surge protectors worked. 1 did not. Guess which one? The important one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're all good now. Here's the point. When we're talking about, the time of year and all those types of details, you're always going to have something at the end of the day. And, right now we're bursting, so to speak, at the seams in need of a customer service person. We all are doing this round robin. I'll respond to that one. I'll respond to that one. You respond to this one. At the end of the day, if you want to do some customer service, send us an email, info@cashflowdiary.com, because we are in the process of looking for that person. You're always going to, how do you hire that person in the midst of all this other stuff? I mean, I hear you, Kyle. That's kind of just part of the delicate balance you've got to make, and you got to make the most out of every opportunity. I mean, a couple days ago was my daughter's birthday. 2 days from now, it's my birthday. Then it's Christmas. And then last week it was my mom's birthday and my anniversary as well. And then it's, my daughter was a few weeks before that, and then my wife a few weeks before that. And by the way, we had Thanksgiving in there. This happens to me every year. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, on top of all of that, we just launched the Wholesale Mastermind Group, and I see a number of you have decided to join. That's good, and that's great, and more of you probably should. And we're working on something special I've been telling you about all month, right? And we are over the moon excited about that, because it's going to help more of you be like Sep. That at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want more people who have the ability to actually say I quit my job. You know, that's kind of like a Christmas present in this particular sense. So either way it goes, at the end of the day, that's what we're kind of looking to do. And I understand it is a challenge, but you can overcome it. So what happened?
We're just trying to find a question.
Trying to find a question.
Go back to your PowerPoint phone.
Do I have
Any
anything?
other questions?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. Andre has a question. Is like, when should a real estate agent be used? When should a buyer's broker agreement be played? Probably never. What rules legal right to own property? Then you should be pretty much fine. Now, does that mean you shouldn't talk to your local solicitors or attorneys and lawyers? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Because you probably could, because of technology, you have the ability of living in a country I've never stepped in or even know about. When should a real estate agent be used? I prefer, especially from a wholesaler standpoint. A wholesaler is going to use a real estate agent to sell the property, not to buy. That's the whole point of the wholesaling, is to buy the property, is to find it at a discount, not to buy it from a retail outlet. In our world of real estate investing, real estate agents are retail, and that's not what we do. So just keep that in mind, and I think you'll be good from there. All right. It says, hi, Don. Oh, cool. I've been sitting in the car watching on my phone, still consciously incompetent on iPhone 6. Okay, Don. You gotta do what you gotta do. That's great. Were there any more questions in there? No? Okay, guys. I apologize for the challenge, but hey, I can't control electricity, I guess. Who knew? And nonetheless, guys, you're doing the right stuff. You're pushing, you're making things happen. Keep doing that. Ray always has a reason. Click that. I want to see what color Bugatti is he did. Is it yellow? It's probably yellow. If I know Ray, he found a yellow Bugatti, didn't he? Yeah, exactly. Well, that one's better. Okay, that's one of the better ones, Ray. So you got me there. Most of the time, that I haven't seen. These I've not seen. The ones that I've seen, usually Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, or someplace like that, they were not that color. They were just like, what is that? And why did you pay that money for that? But anyway, it's all good. So I stand corrected. You found something. Leave it to Ray to find the one or two, in this case, that were properly colored in some way, shape, or form. But I bet you they're still made for short Italian people, which is not me, and that's a problem. Anyway, it's a personal problem, but you get my frustration. I really wanted that Lamborghini. I rambled enough. I will talk to you guys soon. Until next time.